Welcome back, everyone, to part 2 of The Dreamer. We're in the middle of some real talk with Emily, our recent film school grad. We're going to get right back into it, so let's go. I think some of the best advice I could give you as to getting into this now is building a strong network.
So true.
It is about who you know. Let's just be real. It is about who you know.
Yes, it really is.
Yeah, so how are we doing on that?
Good, and I'm working on it. I feel like every week, whether it be through work or just meeting people in every aspect of the industry, whether it's like through some of my classes or whether it's acting, building those connections and also just trying to reach out to people. I mean, what's the worst someone could say? No? Okay, then you move on to the next one. But it's just about really putting yourself out there.
Yes.
And every no is just one step closer to a yes.
And the hands-on experience. Like when I first got my opportunity to produce, they were like, well, we could only pay you about $1,000. I was like, sold. You know, I'll take it. And that led to the next one, well, we can pay you $1,500. Okay, and mind you, these are films that take like months off your, you know, your schedule, whatever, but it didn't matter because that is beyond film school. Now, I love film school. It's great. You're going to get the basics. You get kind of, and there's just so much that you can teach even in 4 years. Like one year on a film is going to teach you more than you could ever learn.
Yes.
Yeah, but you're going to know enough to where you're not walking in blind like I did, and it's like, you know.
You have like a foundation.
Absolutely. Do as much work unpaid, but then maybe set your own stuff up. Who do you know?
Yeah.
Like, I got some great people today here, right now, pointing cameras at us that I love. And we're working for each other to kind of set each other up in a different way and help.
Yeah.
Think of it in
it's
trade.
A village.
But think of it in that way, like, how can I help you? Well, how can I help you? And it's a symbiotic approach at that point. So no one's getting, you know, taken advantage of. Like, there's sincere want to help each other in each lane. You'd be surprised. So then you produce something, you get it out there, you put it in a festival circuit. Hello, hi, I'm Emily, I'm here. Let's do this. I won my award at Sundance. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, and through that, you're really just finding those people that you work well with, that you mesh well with, that you can trust, and you're building your people.
It makes sense because you want to work with people you're familiar with, you have a shorthand with. So do you have any questions for me?
I do.
Okay.
So, actually, it is about what we were just talking about. How do you go forward when producing a film? How do you find your team, whether it be cameraman, grip, sound? Also, how do you find executive producers, the funds? Who do you reach out to specifically for that?
So with EPs and executive producers, that's a little tricky. I think the first time I decided I wanted to do a movie, I was going to partner with someone who was going to bring in financing. I went with the small circle, with people I knew, family and friends. Okay. And was that good in retrospect? Probably not. It gave me so much stress because once I raised $125,000 for my first film. And we were promised to get our monies paid back in 2 years. Didn't happen. And I felt like the worst human being ever because I was like, I just took these people's money and that's that. You know, and it was really hard. It was really hard. But mind you, when you go into these deals, you are giving the disclosure that this is probably the worst investment on paper, but you're really just investing in me because it's like investing in a restaurant. Like there's certain things that are high risk, and when people invest in movies, they're aware that
my parents owned restaurants. I understand.
You know what I mean? Like those, it's like the worst turnover, and I feel so responsible. But the film did get paid back like 10 years later.
That's good.
So I said that was my film school, and that was my 4-year degree, that was my master, and it's my PhD. So that's part of your networking. You need to have your ducks in a row to make sure you have a amazing pitch deck. You need to have a solid script. So be objective about your script. Because just because you think it's hung the moon doesn't mean it's hung the moon.
Yeah, or it's going to sell. I mean.
But you need to be clear on the genre. But the point is, if you have all your assets in a row, you've done your research, you've got your deck, then when you present these documents to, and these guys are mainly, it's financiers, they're business guys, they're looking for a return on investment. They need to understand, at least your stuff. Again, preparation is a superpower. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As far as crew goes, that's just over time. Like you find one gem,
Find people.
you find the next.
Find a good UPM, line producer.
So what you do is you make sure you hold on to the good ones.
Yeah.
Call the others, and then over time, like over a decade, now I have a circle of people.
Like, do you lock in an executive producer before to then lock in the sales and distribution, or do you kind of lock in distribution to then get the executive producer?
Well, I think they go hand in hand. Okay, so if you think of it this way, so you're looking for a distributor, and a distributor's looking for, number one, are you funded, and who's attached? Right, and sometimes it can be the inverse. It can be like, who did you attach to this? And that is also kind of helping drive the funding.
Yes.
Right?
True.
So I don't think there's an exact order. For instance, my first film.
Okay.
We worked on getting the financing with the intention of going to distributor A, B, or C.
Got it.
We can't secure cast without
you have the
money.
money.
Right?
Yes.
It's almost in tandem sometimes, and I always say it's the money a little bit. But if you attach an EP, let's just say you find someone who's really great at just getting money, and there are those people out there, then you can work off that person's reputation. Like if they have other things that they've funded, and then I would kind of wait and play it out and see if you get, I don't know, half the funding in. Because once you can get something in and you can now go to your cast and just one person you can get attached, then you've got something to work off of.
So when an actor is attached, what does that technically mean? Have they already filled out paperwork? Is it kind of like a handshake for now until it's fully written?
Yeah, because we hear this all the time, like, so-and-so's doing my movie. Like, I've heard this, if I haven't heard it once, I've heard it 100 times, and then I go, oh, okay, so they signed a deal? And they're like, no, they, we worked together, and then they saw my stuff, and they said, yeah, I'll work for you.
They're interested. They like the story.
That means zero. So the formal way this happens is like, so we want to go out to someone with a big name, and we write an offer.
Okay.
And it would really, with the networking, finding a great casting director, because those people are the way into those agents and those stars. Like the better the casting director, the bigger pool of actors you're going to get to. So that's a networking thing that you really, so if someone falls in love with your script and says, yes, I'll work for you. And I have some really great A-listers that I think would really,
fit the role.
that would actually read your script, because that's the other thing, they have to get it to the talent.
True.
And you got to get it through the agents and so forth. So there's ways to do that. There's script readers for like some of the big guys that, if you can just really kind of connect and befriend, because these people, even in the assistants at the lower level, some of the bigger agencies, they move up the food chain. So if you can get it in the hands of the actor, wow. But that said, an offer goes out and they either reject it or they accept it.
Okay.
So an attachment in my book is that offer has been accepted, because once that offer is accepted, we can still paper the deal. But I can go off of that deal memo as gold. So then you could take that deal memo and you could go to an EP and say, hey, James Wood wants to do my movie.
He accepted the offer.
We've got an offer, we've got a deal, okay, great. That, and then a distributor, oh, great, we love him.
Perfect.
We know we can sell him internationally. We know domestic, we know Netflix loves him, digital loves him, great. We'll go ahead and work this deal out with you.
Nice.
Yeah. Easier said than done, but it's done every day. It's just understanding how to navigate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Emily, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I know we've always said we're going to do some coffee talk, and now this is it. We just didn't have any coffee.
Next time.
Well, guys, producing, as you can see today, producing is about making things happen, and the key is preparation. So if you found this episode helpful, please hit that like and subscribe button and share this with anyone that could really use this. And next time, we're actually talking to a producer who was once a producer, went away for a little bit and now is coming back. It's going to be a great episode, so stay tuned for that one next on The Producer's Desk.